So, Dr. Bowles, is there another book coming after this? Because I feel like there's more to this story.
I feel like there's more to the story too, and I believe Sister Snoop will have another book.
I guess that should have been on down, but I just felt like I was ready for more. But you started out talking about the inspiration behind it, but definitely the meaning of this book is talking about how to deal with bullying. Is that Was that the basis of why you wrote this book?
The basis for why I wrote the book was in schools. I hear students, and I hear teachers and educators telling students what not to do all the time.
Mhm.
But in many cases, we don't model what they should do. And so Sister Snoop is a problem, is a story about what really happens in schools. Many students are excluded for a lot of reasons. How they look, what they wear, if they're smart, whatever. If they speak another language, if they're new. And so it's very hard. Being included is very hard for students. And schools can be sometimes our students can be very cruel to one another. And so Sister Snoop is a book about how students work and what happens in schools. And it deals with if a student's problem, her emotion. You saw her excitement. She was very excited about going to school. And one of the things a lot of students face is if you're the new student at school, there's kind of like a ritual. You end up having to fight at certain schools or they exclude you. And it can be a very miserable, uncomfortable experience. And so this is bringing attention to how students make each other feel, how they treat each other, and also how one student took a stand and she stood for herself, what she believed in, even if she didn't fit. It didn't happen at first. She had to have the support from her grandmother and her mother, which you had to be able to come back and regroup and make that stand. And so that's what Sister Snoop is about.
Is this a true story, or did you experience this with any of your children?
Uh, it's not a true story, but it's something that I've seen as a mentor, as an educator and administrator in the school district for many years. A lot of the fights, a lot of the cruel things that students do to each other, the emotions, how to fit in. And so I've seen it over and over again, this scenario and others.
What age group is this book directed?
Well, it's really directed towards elementary, probably, my K or 1 through 6, because it really fits in, going to school, bullying, your emotions, how you feel. There are a lot of students that are very depressed, with the COVID, the pandemic, they've been so isolated. Some students are doing remote. They're at home a lot by themselves, or they're doing a hybrid model. They come 2 days, but school, the way they've known it, just doesn't exist anymore. And they're trying to wrap themselves around it. And it's been very difficult, not only for students, but educators, for parents, and for everyone. And so, this is just bringing attention to the difficulties, even helping parents to be able to have those conversations, to watch their child's body language. Just because they go and close the door doesn't mean that everything's all right, that they need to monitor, to have a relationship so that they can talk to them and to help them resolve those issues.
Well, how important is communication with your children?
Communication is very important with your children. Uh, and not only your communication, but teaching them how to have a voice too, appropriately. Because in the book, if you watch Sister, and when they called her name, she didn't clap back, she didn't fight, she didn't call them names back. She walked away. Her feelings were hurt. You can look at her emotions. She had tears in her eyes, but she didn't clap back. She didn't buy into a lot of the things that they did, but at the same time, she didn't isolate herself with the bullies. She knew how to stand, to walk away, and to keep it moving. And it's very important. So not only to be able to teach, to be able to communicate with your children, but to be able to teach them how to have a voice, the appropriate voice, when and where and how.
So talk about your process as a first-time author. How long did it take you to get it done? Did you communicate with the illustrator? Do you know the illustrator?
Okay. This was a like I said, I think it was a Lord a God thing. I woke up. It was right after Christmas, about the 28th or 29th. It was before, right in between the Christmas and the New Year. And I had the storyline and written it in the middle of the night and the title. And I began to, it was like get on the computer and type it. So I started typing the story. And to make a long story short, this story was finished and I had an illustrator before the end of January,
How'd you
in
find that
less
out?
than 30 days.
How'd you do that?
Well, one of the things that happened again, when I got to the illustration part, I even called you about someone reading the book and illustrators, and your people were saying, "Well, just send us your script," or "I know this person, I know that person," and it was a lot more difficult than it was, and so I prayed about it. And I said, Lord, you gave me this story, and I don't want to go through all these hassles about trying to find the right illustrator, whatever. So I need you to give me an illustrator. I literally prayed that. And I was just sitting. About 5 minutes later, the phone rang. And it was my best friend who lives in Illinois. She said, well, what are you doing? She was driving around, and it was interesting because we don't talk like every day. We might talk once a month or every 2 or 3 months as needed. She was driving. I just thought about you and I called you, and I told her about, I was sitting waiting on a word from the Lord, and I told her what was going on. And she said, well, I have an illustrator who does a lot of books, and that's very well known, throughout the area, and has some award winning books and illustrations. And she said, I'll talk to him and see if maybe he could give you some pointers. And so she talked to him. He gave me a call like 2 days later, and we were talking about the book, and he asked me to send him a copy of the book. I sent him a copy. He sent me an email back and said, me and my team would like to make your book come to life. That's how it happened.
Okay. What about the publishing part? How was that easy for you?
I decided to self-publish. And the reason I decided to self-publish, because as African Americans, I wanted the story, when someone buys your book, they can edit it. They can change the characters, they can change the storyline. And there was a message that I wanted to have out there, and I didn't want that changed. And so I self-published the book. And was it easy? No, particularly with the strategy as far as marketing. And so I'd like to just really give a shout out to Pyramid for really helping with the process. And, certain schools I've been able to, prior to that, to do story time and read stories and share, just going out to share the storyline with schools around the Pulaski County area. And so, I'm just very thankful for those opportunities.
We have a question. The book is called Sister Snoop. Usually Snoop has a negative meaning. Is there a point to when a child can be too inquisitive?
I think that, oftentimes we don't encourage our children to research, to dig in, to find out information. And so it's like, don't ask questions, just accept things the way they are. Whatever someone gives you, you have to just receive it and believe it. And so I was trying to change that connotation. You need to dig into things. It's okay to dig. It's okay to research, to find answers. And find out there's more than one way to solve a problem. And there's more than one answer to the problem in many cases too. It's always not just one answer. There's another way to get there.
So how has the book been received? And have you been able to use it as a learning tool in schools?
I've been able to use it quite well as a learning tool. In fact, I've written curriculum with it. And some school districts have been reading it with their literacy movement, how they have different books of the month. They've been reading as a book of the month, and doing open-ended questions, read alouds. And so it's really kind of evolving into a literacy tool in literacy and real life fiction, because students, sometimes we have to give them different genres. And in some cases, when we come into elementary schools, we look at African Americans, we talk a lot about historical fiction, people who've done things, and sometimes they're not always engaged because they feel like, well, I don't want to talk about somebody in slavery anymore. They're old, that happened a long time ago. That doesn't have anything to do with me. And so making it relevant to them, engaging them, hooking them. This is a problem. This person looks like me. They talk like me. They're having problems, like I have or other people are having. And so it's making those connections. And yes, it's very important to have the historical aspect because history is who we are, our story. But at the same time, we have to be able to engage them so that they can feel that some things are relevant to them too, to get them to that point.
So I'll go back to our very first question about Sister Snoop 2. When is that coming and what does that look like?
I don't know, it's gnawing at me. It might be a summer project or a fall project. This has been a learning experience, particularly with the marketing part of it. And marketing, that's very important and strategic. So as the marketing part opens up and several people have expressed a desire for, another book or the series, it's coming. It'll be here. It'll be sooner than later.
So is there anything else you'd like to share with us about Sister Snoop that we haven't talked about? Don't have any more questions in the chat box, and don't know if any of the audience has any more questions.
I think one of the things would be if you looked at the book and the images were very important. Picture books can be for any age. And years ago I would always read picture books to my children, younger ones, and what I found were the older ones would lay on the bed and listen to the books too. And so it's just not for your 4 and 5 and your young children. Big kids like stories too. They like to be read too, and it can be a prompt. It can open up a door, to have conversations about something that's going on. In this book, it also dealt with stereotypes. If you notice, they asked her if she wanted to play basketball, or she said, no, I don't play basketball. And then, they laughed at her super puffy hair. And so we're dealing with stereotypical images too that happen. So it touches on a lot of different things. You can go a lot of different ways with it.
When you talk about the hairstyle, is that intentional to make her hair super puffy, as you call it?
Yes, it was. And it was very it was intentional. I didn't have anything to do with it. The author did. I mean, the illustrator did. But it was so interesting when Sister Snoop first came out. We had a Miss Black America, Black Miss International, and Miss World. They were all of African American ancestry. There were a lot of conversations about beauty and standards of beauty, and some people had a lot of negative things to say about it. And so I wanted her to put out there because we have different colors, we have different hair types and textures, and it's all beautiful. And so I didn't want to just go with the standard, the Anglo-Saxon or Caucasian standard of beauty. We come in all different shapes, sizes, colors, and forms and hair textures, and it's all beautiful. And so I wanted that to come across too.
So this is, obviously a good book for your child that they're going to school for the first time. And so that is always a good entry level to get kids to read a book to say, this is what could happen and this is how you can handle it.
Yes. Or this is her problem. This is how she solved it. Counselors can use it about appropriate voice. She wasn't screaming, hollering, cussing folks out. Sometimes when I'm working with student groups, about how you use your voice, and you can hurt, her emotions. You can look at social emotion. There's a lot of social emotional learning going on. And that's why the illustrations look like that. Look at her picture. You can see her feelings were hurt. She was crying, but how does she respond? So the appropriate way to respond, the appropriate way to get help. And so having those pictures and those images and those examples.
And the family dynamics at home.
Yes.
Communication is very important. And I'm glad that you were able to share that. Okay. So what we're going to do now is we're going to give away a copy of Sister Snoop, but we have to go back and give away a copy of Junior and His Basketball Dreams since we forgot to do that in our last segment. So Anna, will you help us with that? Which book is this on?
For Junior and his basketball dreams.
Hey, Ruby Burgess, congratulations.
Hey. Alrighty. And now for a copy of Sister Snoop. Oh. Alrighty.
Sheila Singleton, congratulations to our 2 winners. So see, being a part of Independent Bookstore Day and a virtual marathon can be a lot of fun. So we are so thankful that you are here with us today, Dr. Bowles, and we wish you much luck in your next book. And we definitely will continue to promote your books and all the things that you are helping students with. So we appreciate you and thank you very much.
Thank you for your support, continued support for all authors and independent authors, because it's hard to get in there. And you open a venue and an avenue for a lot of us. And we, I'm really grateful. And a lot of people have expressed their gratitude to you for doing that. Not only the books, but the paintings and the art and everything. Thank you.
We love what we do, and it's because of you that we are here. So we work hand in hand as well as with the community. Everybody on this call out there in Facebook land, we're excited to be a part of this. So our next book will be at 3 o'clock, and it will be Maria
How do
Hoskins.
we pick up Sister Snoop? How do we order it?
Oh, put it on the screen, definitely. Let's tell them how to get the book. You can get it at Pyramid Art Books and Custom Framing, and definitely you can also get it on our website, pyramid1988.com. And they'll also be signed. Dr. Bowles has signed her books, and it's available in hardback and in paperback. And for those of you who are interested in getting your book out there in the public, we have someone to help you. Victoria Mays, take down that number. She's available for consultation. Wherever you are in your process, she can help you. So leave that up for a minute, Anna, so they can surely get that information. Our entrepreneur moment. Thank you to Jaden and AJ for sharing their Not Just Lemonade project with us. You're in Georgia, where to get fresh lemonade. We're encouraging young people to follow their paths and follow their dream. And our sponsors, yes, we have 100 Black Men and Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated Beta Pi Omega Chapter will be providing books for our special guest school from the Little Rock School District, Romine Elementary. So a set of 5 sets of these books will be placed in Romine Elementary School for use for the teachers and in the library. So we're excited for the community to support us. And if you want any of these books in your child's school, please come by the gallery and pick them up, or we'll take them to them. We definitely are wanting to make sure that our self-published authors have a platform and a way to get their books into the school. So thank you so much for participating today, and we thank our sponsors. At 3 o'clock, we will have my sister, my friend, Maria Hoskins. I call her my holiday author who specializes. She's written 5 books, one about Christmas, Thanksgiving, Father's Day, Easter, and my sister, my friend is for Siblings Day. So we're excited to have her come and share her book with us, and she will be here at 3 o'clock. So we'll see you at 3 o'clock. Thank you.
So like water with inside coconut. See, Papa, if you give me stamina. Wait for you through the same time, come on. Me and you at the same time. I never want to leave, So dance with me, I pull up on your beach, It's time to swim, Baby girl, make you know the lie. No lie. Make it tell your friends, say you they feel this guy. Don't even waste time. Cause now me you go follow till the day we die. But meanwhile, I can't wait to make your face smile. It's not a lie. It's my soul. Never be the
She be wasted. My business not mine.
things on my mind, it be me that will go frustrate. I don't need noise for my life, vibes only give me some space. Just do my thing on the low, I know they look another man face. So if you wanna vibe with the guys, then give me the time and the place. So you come to the recipe today. Peace, love, and harmony on the day. God bless the enemy from here. Carry that your energy for a feel. She got the remedy, yeah. Coming with the melody, oh shit. I just wanna chill on this sunny day. Every other day, fuck you, feel. Right now, I can see it's a celebration. Then after your starvation, no, I jump for free, no hesitation. Solo, no negotiation, yeah. As you can see, it's a celebration. No fights, no segregation. Mix and things like a combination. All of me, no negotiation, yeah. You know the agenda. Cup in my hand, something must have entered. Group don't start, speaking on the ginger. I just want to hang like say I be Mona Lisa. I stay grateful. Many things where we don't face, and we don't think we will be the grind. Now we don't be busy, so we come with the recipe today. Peace, love, and harmony on the daily. God bless the enemy from here. Carry that your energy for a feel. You got the remedy, yeah. Coming with the melody, oh shit. I just wanna chill on this sunny day. Every other day for the holiday. Some different string for this. Mama gonna get some ranges. My nigga gonna see the ends. Though he's locked for ages. Put me in a deeper end. She feeling menses. Says she wanna play pretend. So that she ain't gonna pretend it. Cause you know me. I'm wavy trying to make some way to go. Took some things to go. We can go Mexico. You feel me? I tell you that I wanna go your way. Tell me low. Run let you know. I lost my mind. We got so high. We lost our sense. The track of time. Sweet and nice. She hold me tight. She said, do me right. She said, don't deny it. Psycho, can you burn it up like a barrel? My paper stop like my room. Tell me who want 59 you. Wonder where I get my confidence from. Whoa, smell my ganja express. More than enough to make you feel love. But I don't understand what your intentions. Can't let you know. I'm wavy, trying to make some way to go. Took some things to go. We can go Mexico. You feel me? I tell you that I wanna go your way. Tell me low. I demand though, I need explanation. You should tell me. You know be hypo. Yamu ya me know the air back. Nothing the way you do it, I don't think that you say I know the lie. If you know there be nobody, they over me, and you probably gonna get you want my baby. Because you want my baby. You probably gonna get you want my baby. You want my baby. You probably gonna get you want my baby. Because you want my baby. You probably gonna get you want my baby. You want my baby. You really want anyone. Right? We can get you off my mind. Girl, you're one of them. Guy, we are confident too. Yeah. We not like you. Although not you feel the same thing that you. Different feeling in the time where you stop by. Nothing the way you do it, I don't think that you say I don't like, yeah. Also wanna know the mind, but I wanna know the mind, because you are my baby. Probably because you are my, probably because you are my baby. Because you are my, baby, probably because you are my baby. Because you are my, baby, probably because you are my baby. Because you are my, yeah. seen before. Say, oh my darling, darling. Oh, you let me kiss your hand, and that's why you know go for it. Darling, ain't nobody else with the cool my temper. Oh my darling, darling. Oh my darling, darling, yeah. Fire my thing, so. Girl, you to find it's a special kind of night, and your body is the tightest. Let me analyze, let me give you a couple things, let me spit a couple rhymes, yeah. Take you to paradise, show you that I mean what I say. Let me give you all my things, and I'll fly life, and I say, hold up, let me see you pop that thing for grown up. I just wanna show up, yeah, hold up. Girl, you cause you hold up, when you carry big something, you cause you hold up. Hold on, let me see you pop that thing for grown up. I just wanna show up, yeah, hold up. Girl, you cause you hold up. Don't know, oh my darling, darling. Yeah, you give me love when me never see before. Say, oh my darling, darling. Oh, you let me kiss your hand, and I swear you no go fall it, darling. Ain't nobody else with the cool my temper. Oh my darling, darling. Oh my darling, darling, yeah. Motherfucker can't stop my shine up. What's mine is mine up. Celebrate life and sip wine up. Oh baby girl, you looking fine up. Motherfucker can't stop my shine up. What's mine is mine up. Celebrate life and sip wine up. Elevating, I'm on cloud nine up. The girl in my soul searching, my soul snatching, on the Snapchat stand. That girl with the hold something, she look my face and tell me how you doing. Me no day for the eyesight, me just. You, your head to go connect you. You not go forget you. So you get the concept. Then the passenger. You go learn your own lesson. Everybody keep on searching. For miraculous blessing. You go buy for the cost you. If you know yourself, you go bless you. If you get the money, you be blessed you. I'm a nobody, only no apostle. The body go rest you. Father begin you. The body go rest you. The body go rest you. The tongue go confess you. Your head to go correct you. You not go forget you. So you get the concept. I go tell you watch out when you go. Watch out on the road. Watch out for them hyenas. Watch out when you go. Watch out on the road. Watch out. Look around and all the places you go to. Stand your ground and stay solid like Goku. Watch your back and just do what you're supposed to. Take care of family and people you're close to. Then the passenger. You go learn your own lesson. Everybody keep on searching. For miraculous blessing. You go buy for the cost you. If you know yourself, you go bless you. If you get money, you go bless you. I'm a nobody, only no apostle. The body go rest you. Father begin you. The body go rest you. The body go rest you. Make you keep some time tonight. Sometime, baby. Pretty my darling. But I said make you keep some time tonight. To make I let you know say I need your love. We need your love. You be mine, you be mine. Yo, I be on time, I be on time. Yeah. You be mine, you be mine. Yo, be on time, I be on time. I bet I have bad want to, but girl, I need you. Cause you make me feel like a man. Girl, I hope you understand me. Girl, I want it hard like fire. Girl, you make my day go. I am melody popping too. Oh, baby, come be my lady. Take out my love, baby. Don't be late, baby. To Africa, woman, you are sexy. To Africa, woman, you are sweet. Africa, woman, you beautiful. And if you give me that love, you give me return. Africa, woman, you marry me, baby. Would you marry me, baby? You marry me, baby. This marry me, baby. I'm okay. Say I go follow like Zombie. So I'm okay. Say I go pay like you done me. Tonight, where the party day? Where my people day? Where the shy you day? We gon' make my feel alright tonight. When nobody day, now who go day? No throw away. Yeah. No forget, say your dream no be happen for one night. Yeah. How many apple make you enjoy this life? Say that one life. Yeah. And when they done, they start, then go look, then go dislike. Yeah. Say no time, say man, they live like we might just like. Baby, cover me. Baby, cover me. Baby, cover me. Just for tonight, cover me. Baby, cover me. Baby, cover me. Just for tonight. Cause you like it better.
DJ, hold up. Girl, you know I had to go to work for the words, but this words for you. If I have to put on my health in the post, singing up for you. Ain't nobody know the cost of my matter, easy my shawty. Anybody underestimates it in my town, tell them I sing none of my shawty. If you need a fire, I'll be a ladder, please be judging. Put me on trial, if you think I hurt ya, put me underwater, take me caught. I don't need that. I love you. Ooh, whoa. Can you see that? I love you. Whoa. Can you see that? I love you.
See me, I no get that billion. Oh no, yeah. But I got so much love to give you. I got so much love to give you. Oh na. I bless the day I found you. Let's go. Oh Lord of mercy. Oh, don't see me who I am, yes, yo. Oh, do you, who do ya, mama, yeah, do you, who do ya, mama, yeah, do you, who do ya, mama, yeah. One time, go. Many girls them try to come my way. Oh, some fine, some bad, but that's why your time never there. That's why I bless the day I found you. Let's go. Oh Lord of mercy. Oh, don't see me who I am, yes, yo. Who do ya, mama, yeah. Everything, you know it. King already, you know it. My body so got a king body. Body gon' shine, bling, bling body. Calling on the shots
house, ring body. Crown on your head, got a king body. Don't live a king, you a king, you know it. King already, my baby, you know it. Top everything, you know it. King already, you know it. Shine already, it's time already. The line already, it's time already. Shine already, it's time already. The line already, it's time already.
Try to stop it, me say no, no, no. Royalty say don't you, no, no, no. Try to stop it, me say go, 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 go. Bubble up and watch it go, go, everything be ruler, yeah. Everybody on the conquer, yeah. Every king be stronger, yeah. King the rule them longer, yeah. Remember who you are, oh. Real king always be no. Give up the brave, oh. I show your people my love. You sang my ready, I say you sang my ready. You line already, I say you line already. Only you got the remedy, I say you got the remedy. Shine your body, shine your body.
I'm never king, you know it. King already, you know it. Top everything, you know it. King already, you know it. Another man food is another man poison. Go, yeah. Monkey no fine, but in my mind like go, oh yeah. Sure you want come calculate my money. Go, oh yeah. You want to dance, oh, you want to shake, oh yeah. Who can you bless me, bless, oh yeah. Chop the rice and banana, oh yeah. I go do my best, oh yeah. Chop the way do one banga, oh yeah. But you don't start, oh. Shayoga love for the matata. Slim daddy, I love my life, I love my life, I love my life, yeah. Oh, Motala Jaye. Go, go. Rihanna make you always so. Yeah. Go, do your own, make I do my own. Go, go. Them mama, them papa, all of them want to quarrel. Yeah. You know that I'm a big man. Yeah. Kick harder than Jackie Chan. Yeah. My money coming, big band, so yeah. Number one in your area. Yeah. Sule, I want me to Sula. Yeah. Don't play with me because your caro is my sister. Yeah. Go, 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 show deal. Go, 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 show deal. Yeah.
Why waste 100 nights testing a mattress? Head into Ashley Home Store and experience your new mattress in a box before you buy it. Then simply order online or from your local store. Click the link to have better sleep shipped free to your door. Ashley Home Store. This is home.
Good afternoon. We're back for book number 7. You're a part of Pyramid Art Books and Custom Framing's Baobab Storytime Virtual Marathon. And we're at book number 7. It's 3 o'clock. We've been going since 9 o'clock this morning. We're celebrating Independent Bookstore Day. And we're excited to have Maria Hoskins from Arkansas. She's an Arkansas author. And this is book number 6 for her. Maria is one of my, she's a very good friend of mine, and I'm so proud of her because I said, if you don't see this book, you don't see the book you want, go write it. So I'm going to let her tell her story, but Maria Hoskins, my sister, my friend. Welcome, Maria.
Thank you, Garbo. And indeed, it's always an honor and a privilege to be able to stop by Pyramid Art Books and Custom Framing to share my stories and to listen and learn about so many other beautiful stories of authors that are coming through Pyramid Art Books and Custom Framing. And yeah, thank you. It's been a journey, right? We've started back with a challenge to write a book, and we've met that challenge, and it kept on going, right?
Continue.
So we started with the challenge at Christmas time to write the first Christmas Night on the Farm book. So Christmas Night on the Farm, we started with that. And
how did that happen? Tell me how that happened.
So yes, so we came into Pyramid Art Books and Custom Framing to look for a book. Remember the keyword look, to buy a book to read to Sunday school. And we looked and we looked. And I say, I like the stories, tell the stories. We looked and we looked and we looked. And Garbo and I kept on asking, hey, it's got to be a book in here, something that doesn't feature Santa Claus, that doesn't feature the snowman, something different that I want for Sunday school. And we could not find the book. So after a continuous time of looking, Garbo said, Maria, and put her hands on her hip. I remember that distinctly. Just go write the book. So ding. So there comes the challenge. And from that challenge, I did. I sat down one night and thought about what book would I write? If I'm going to write a book about Christmas, what would that book be? And as I thought about it, there was only one answer. I would write about my favorite holidays. My mother bringing us back continuously. If we weren't living in Mayflower, we were coming back to Mayflower, going to my grandmother's farm. And so there begins the story, writing about my favorite holidays, starting with Christmas and then going from Christmas. The other favorite holiday, of course, Grandma's Thanksgiving dinner. If you all can see that, that was the second book. In all these books, not only are we going to write about the favorite holidays, but I wanted to have some real meaning and substance about the stories for children to gravitate to. So instead of writing in the person where I'm writing, where I'm telling you my story, I want you to read the books and think about your own stories. Think about your own Christmas holiday, your own time at your grandmother's house or another relative's house, where you were having Thanksgiving dinner and Christmas dinner and all the things that you did as a family. And then not only that is to engage students into writing their own stories, not only writing, reading and writing, right? Developing literacy skills. So in the back of each book is an opportunity for students to write about what they did. So let me see if I can find just one page like in the back of Grandma's Thanksgiving dinner. See where the audience can see that. You see there's a section there. Not too much to get the student worried or get that child after they read a fun story thinking, oh no, I got a homework to do, but just enough to have them start thinking about their experiences and then putting that on paper. Following that, we did a down home in Arkansas, a family reunion story. So there is that book. That book is actually illustrated, and I'll go back and talk about illustrators later, by Mr. Wade Hampton from the Morrilton area, who is a fabulous artist. And I mean, when I say fabulous, when you pick up this book, you'll understand how he was able to take my memories about our family reunions, which is a holiday, right? At family reunions, we all get together, we have fun, we have good education about our family history. And then the book also has a curriculum in the back of the book, which allows students and families to start talking about their family history, start documenting their family tree, start having conversations about what heirlooms and treasures are, passing things down from one family member to another. And for me, I'll have to say this, so as we're starting to get into this story about my sister, my friend today, is one of my favorite family heirlooms was my grandmother's rocking chair. And actually today I own that rocking chair. My mother passed that chair down to me, so it's very precious. So you'll have those type of conversations. The next book, again, thinking about holidays, I'm your holiday writer, is My Easter Story. We just came out of Easter, and Mr. Rex Deloney, the illustrator of this book, he did a fantastic or phenomenal job of conveying again my thoughts into the illustrations for this book when we're talking about what we did for Easter. We all can think about the preparation for the day and then going to church and what we experienced at church, and for the little kids, that famous Easter egg hunt, but ending the story with what Easter is all about, and then having the opportunity to write about those stories. Do I keep going, Miss Garbo? I'll keep going. Okay. So this again is another fabulous story that your whole family will engage in as you read to your children, or let your children read to the ones that read, and to the smaller children, or to cousins. Other, it doesn't have to be siblings. Just sharing the stories. Pawpaw's Pets was the book following that. And when you say, that doesn't sound like a holiday story, hey, but think about Father's Day, right? So I wrote the book and it was released for Father's Day in honor of my dad, Reverend Alvin Gill, who is a highly decorated veteran. So it gives us this opportunity to talk to our children about, do you know a veteran? And if you do know a veteran, have you ever had a conversation with that veteran? But then the story itself is just wonderful. When we call him Brother Gill, is walking with his companion JR, and they have an adventure every day with all the other animals that follow them, where it's the ducks and the cats and the chicken and then the rooster that they find. So everybody knows Brother Gill about his time walking up and down the highway, going to feed the chickens with Rocky the rooster and the ducks and the cats and all of that following behind them. So I think you'll find that very interesting. At the end of this story, illustrated by Miss Rhonda Adams, a wonderful teacher right here in Little Rock at Gibbs Magnet, she uh, shares a thought at the end of letting the students pick out the animals that were in the story and then write about those animals. So there's another time of engaging students to recall and to improve their literacy skills. The very last book, the new release that we're going to talk about today, of course, My Sister, My Friend, which you've already seen the cover of that book, is a very exciting story for me because that story is based on my two girls, Christina and Victoria. As I look at what you all have heard today, so many wonderful and beautiful stories, they hit some very special topics. And so this topic is another topic that falls in line with some of your conversations that you had today. Many families have people in their family that may have special needs and that need a little extra help. And children, you can find it's good for them to, if they don't have a sibling or a relative, cousin, or friend that may have special needs, this book is a good opportunity for you to also share it with them so they can think about if they had a relative or a sibling that had special needs. These are some of the things that they may engage in or may learn about or may experience. So it's a good topic. And, some one of those topics we may not always talk about, but it's important because families, how we deal with our families with special needs, we just deal with them with love. Um, we don't focus on the inabilities or the special needs, as someone says. We just focus on loving one another and caring for one another. And I think that's what you'll find when you talk to anyone that has someone that needs just a little extra help in the family. That is not the point. That's not the focus of how you relate to one another. It's all done in love, and we're glad to do that. With this book, what you'll have an opportunity to do right before we get into reading it is there are some wonderful illustrations in this book by the illustrator Craig Stanley. And Mr. Stanley is a fabulous, another, I'm going to say fabulous on all the illustrators because they are. Mr. Craig Stanley is, and I hope you all can see that, he is from the Atlanta area, Georgia area, but he has Arkansas ties, such as all the other illustrators. And he has taken his thought and the models that he has used to create the illustrations in this book, and you will look at the illustrations and think that you're looking at pictures, photography, but you're not. You're looking at some fantastic illustrations that bring to life the story of my sister, my friend. And with that, I would like to go ahead and start reading the book. So, absolutely, thank you. My sister, my friend. And there are my girls, Christina and Victoria. It is such a blessing to have a sister, especially my sister, my friend. I have the ideal sister. She's my friend through thick and thin. When my sister plays dress up, I like to dress up too. We get into mom's makeup, clothes, hair, and hats and shoes. When my sister listens to her favorite music, she dances all around the room. I join in dancing and singing loudly a song or two. When my sister calls or FaceTimes her best friend, she will let me say hello as their chat begins. She talks and I laugh. It's really lots of fun. When my sister goes shopping to buy something new, she will buy something for herself and she will buy something for me too. My sister is patient and helpful. She doesn't complain, even when I continuously call out her name. Sister, I want some water. Can I have some juice? I need my socks. And oh, don't forget my shoes. My sister is smart. She studies hard every day. It makes me very happy when she takes time out to spend with me and play. We play board games, watch my favorite TV show, and eat some snacks. I'm tired now. That's enough fun for today. I call on my sister to help me when it's time to brush my teeth. She helps me get them clean, sparkling white, and my breath smelling sweet. I need a little extra help on just about everything I do. I'm blessed to have a family who cares for me and loves me too. I really do not like it when my sister combs my hair. She combs and pulls. Ouch! Stop it! That hurts! While she is doing my hair, we are not a good pair. When it is time for me to get dressed for the day, my sister checks me out and says, "You look great, A-OK." Breakfast time requires lots of help. Food to fix, medicine to take, and cleaning up the mess I sometimes make. Cereal on the table and in my hair, food on my face, the floor, and let me back up. Breakfast time requires lots of help, food to fix, medicine to take, and cleaning up the mess I sometimes make. Cereal on the table and in my chair, food on my face, the floor, and in my hair. My sister is a bit sassy, and I am a bit messy. My sister can be bossy, and I sometimes be noisy. But no matter how different we are or the different things we do, my sister loves me very much, and I love her very much too. So that's the story of my sister, my friend. I hope you enjoyed that story. And in addition to, again, remember, after the story, there's an opportunity for the students to write. And here I'm encouraging the students to, do you have a sister or a best friend? Write a letter to your sister or your best friend. Do you have a funny story about your sister, brother, or friend? Then you have room, you can write that also. I also encourage the students to add a picture or draw an illustration. And it's when I say siblings, sisters, and brothers, sometimes we don't have immediate family. I know you talked a little bit about adoption today. Um, they're foster brothers and sisters. You may not have any sisters and brothers. You might be an only child. However, you bet you have a friend. So this book, think past just actually being siblings. And my sister, my friend can be anyone that you feel close to. So write about that person, write about your experiences, and write about all the fun things that you have done together. I truly, truly hope that you have enjoyed this story today. And I hope you'll consider adding these books to your collection. They are all here at Pyramid Art Books and Custom Framing. And we're happy to autograph and sign them to make them very special for that child that you're buying the book for, or for yourself, because it reminds you of the relationship that you have with your own brother or sister or best friend. And I will say this, that I gave the one of this book to my very good college friend. And we have been like sisters for the many, many years. And she felt very special. And again, we were like sisters during college. So um, I wanted to make sure that she had that book and know how special she was to me. The books are, as you can see, the hardback is $19.99 and it comes in paperback, $14.99. And you know where Pyramid Art Books and Custom Framing is. So you call, order online, stop by and visit Garbo Hearn. So with that, I'd like to turn it back over to Garbo for any comments.
Well, just want to have a short conversation with you about your journey as a self-published author. Uh, I know that it's been intriguing, it's been fun. Can you talk about, where you come, where you are now, and how you started, the experiences?
Absolutely. Yeah, Garbo. So outside of the initial story of what I shared with you earlier about being challenged to write the book, prior to writing the book, there's a process that goes along the way. I had never intended to write a book. As I said earlier, it was just a challenge. So I had to reach out and have some wonderful mentors that guided me along the way, helped challenge my thinking process, and helped me learn how to be a self-published author. Um, so Miss Janice Kearney and Patrick Oliver actually started all with Patrick Oliver being a consultant for me and guiding me on the actual process in writing a book and how to move from the text and the illustrations to actually getting the book in book format. And then Miss Janice Kearney was a super mentor for me, uh, guiding my thought process and helping me think about when I'm putting these words into paper, how am I drawing the words out? Even though the story was already there, but there's so many other components into publishing. And that's why I created my own publishing company, CMV Four Seasons Publishing. And you can imagine the C stands for Christina and the V stands for Victoria. I wanted to learn that process and to be an efficient and effective writer. The one thing that Miss Kearney's that sticks out to me that she said is, I said, well, should I go find a publisher or should I be a self-publisher? And she had me think about how much work are you going to put into it? If you don't want to do the work, then you should find a publisher. If you're willing to do the work, then you can do it yourself. So I was happy to receive great guidance, Garbo.
So I find that your books all have themes associated with holidays. How important is tradition to you?
Oh, tradition is very important to me. And the part of tradition I'll say that's important is carrying on those family values and memories. So that is the part of tradition that is important to me, is remembering, being a little girl. My grandmother was, when she passed away, she was 98, getting ready to have her 99th birthday, coming around about a month after she passed, I believe, or somewhere in there. And those experiences I had of being in Mayflower on her farm, and being around the chickens and the cows and all the horses and so much farmland, that's important, that I wanted to share that with my girls. Um, and not just share with my family, but have that conversation about other children and other families in the community that have experienced the same thing. Those are good memories, good, I always say, good family values. That so when you talk about tradition, you're talking about it and thinking about it in a way that has a positive impact on the family. So with that, these all of these stories are based on those positive moments and the happiness that you experience. And sometimes some of the stories, people have may not be happy, but I always encourage them, write them down, because you can express your thoughts on words and on paper, and it will make you feel better about what you're thinking about.
I noticed your presentations of your books, you've made sure that they're available in hardback and paperback. That's exciting that you did that. And we have a comment in the chat that says, "Oh my God, that book is $19.99 and it's not cheap. It's just a book." So this is a young patron, so you got to explain to her, the value of books and why hardback books may cost more than paperback books, and what can be done with books.
Yes. So for that, for you out there that say, "Oh my good, the books are so expensive." So I want you to think about something as you're thinking about when you go purchase a book. So when you purchase an Arkansas author's book or another author's book that have poured out their heart and spirits into the book, and it's in a hardback book, 19.99. The cost of print is very expensive when we're out as self-publishers, um, getting these books printed and made. And so that's why I do create a paperback to make it a little less expensive. But this hardback book is going to last for years and years to come. As we said, it's a tabletop book. You can set it out or you can put it on a shelf and the kids can read it over and over again, and it's going to last for a long time. The paperbacks don't normally last as long, but think more past that. Think about when you come in the Pyramid and you buy an Arkansas author and you've heard these stories, you're not going to probably hear um, so many authors that are with big publishing companies that are producing thousands and thousands of books all around the world. You're probably not going to be able to get this one-on-one conversation. And certainly you're not going to probably be able to get an autograph book autographed to you, specialized for you to pass down to your children. So not only have you bought a book, but you've bought a memory, and you've bought something that your child or that person you're buying the book for can pass down, and they can pass it down and keep passing it down from the family. So it's a special thing to have, and I love to collect those personalized books also. But so think of it a little past just it's an expensive book, but think about what you're getting for that book.
Especially with your books, if you actually take the book and as a child use it the way it's supposed to be used, you can, on most of your books, you can tell your own story. This is something that you can pass down to your children. Like, look at what I wrote when I was 5 or 6 or 7 or whatever. So
absolutely.
Talk about why you made sure that each book had that place, and that it was interactive. Why was that important to you?
Yeah, it's important for them to interact because I want to draw out from the children. If you let me back up and say this: how many times have you asked a child, "Do you like to read?" And when you think and compare the numbers, a lot of them will say, I don't like to read. Be honest. Yeah, I go to schools all the time, and then I ask them, a lot of them will raise their hand up. I like to read, but then there's some men that say they don't like to read. And why do you don't like to read? Well, I don't know. I don't know. But then when we experience these books with the children, and I read the story, that same child that just told me they didn't like to read, they understand the story. They know these stories. They've experienced these stories, and so they relate to them. So therefore, their I don't like to read is I really like this book. And what are you going to do with this book? I'm going to write my story in that. Do you like to draw? Yes, I'm going to draw. So they engage. So that's important to me is having these stories in front of children and then allowing them to pour out their experiences into the book. So that itself is a great thing, and I think you'll find, and then it improves their literacy skills. So remember, if they like to read and they like to write, then you're going to see them improving in their reading skills and their literacy skills.
So I'll ask you just like I ask everyone else, what's next? What holiday haven't you covered? Because you
So, Ms.
did leave out
Garbo,
one. Maybe I missed it. The family reunion when I wanted to see more of that one. But what's next?
well, I think we've talked about this a little bit, and my mom's not on today, so it'll be a surprise for her. So what's next has got to be Mother's Day. So Mother's Day, and of course, all of these books have some aspect of something about my mom in them. Whether, of course, she's not written into the stories, but she's encompassed in every one of these books. But now it's at the point we've done all these holidays. Mother's Day it has to be the next book. So maybe look forward for that at sometime in the future near.
So how has the pandemic affected your book business and just you personally? How have you dealt with it? As have you talk about that?
So this pandemic, it really has kind of been an eye opener for everyone, all over the world. For me specifically, it has made me think again about how can I position C&B Four Seasons Publishing uh, to continue to do business with schools and libraries. So because of that, number one, we went virtual. So which is actually ended up being a good thing. So now we're not only talking to people here, right here in Little Rock, which would come to the gallery or go to Mosaic Temples or wherever we are giving a presentation, but now it opened it up to people joining us from all over the U.S. and all over the state, which has been a pleasure to be here in Little Rock and have people on and from Detroit, Kansas City, St. Louis, Indiana, California. That's because if it weren't virtual, they wouldn't be here at the bookstore. So that was nice. The other part component to during this pandemic is, you said, doing something different. So then encouraging us as authors to, now my books are all digital. So not only do I have the hardback and the paperback book, but I do have a digital format of the book. But I still like it's an important for kids to have books in their hands. You won't find me on Kindle. You won't find me on the iPad because I'm still stuck in the time of that. Kids should have a book in their hand. I won't say maybe one day I might go there, but as long as I can still promote and encourage parents to go buy a book, let the kids feel and hold the book, I will still do that. But I have started reinvesting monies again to increase or make it a little different, make it easier to do business with schools, to do virtual programs and at schools and libraries. So it's been a lot of work, and it's been some investment, but you know what? It's all worth it. Because if we're able to share these stories with a few more children and more by making some adjustments, as we all have across this world, we've all had to make some adjustments, then that just makes it better for everyone.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your journey as an author. And I can say I'm very proud of you, and I'm looking forward to everything else that you have that's coming from you in terms of holiday books and just in general, because I think you have a wealth of knowledge that you have shared with us today, and just a perspective on being a self-published author that many do not. So thank you so much. And I think it's time to give away a book.
Yes, ma'am. And thank you. Yeah. So we're going to give away my sister, my friend today.
Yes, Anna has the wheel, and we're going to give a book away.
So we have just a few people who have not won any books today. So we'll spin the wheel and see what happens. All righty. For our friend Ashley.
Ashley Roach. I don't know if I pronounced your name right or not, but definitely. Ashley, are you located in Little Rock?
Yes.
Yes, okay. Well, we can get your information and come by and pick up your autographed copy of My Sister, My Friend.
Congratulations, Ashley. Enjoy it.
Thank you.
All right. That being said, we're going to go into our commercial break, where we share Victoria Mays' information regarding pen to print, because I know budding authors want to know how do I get where Maria Hoskins is. And so Victoria has a business that she shared with us, and we're going to put her information. Definitely help you at all levels, wherever you are with your story. Even if you don't know what you want to do, you can get an idea about how to get it done. All right, we'll see that screen one more time today, because our last but not least, at 4 o'clock, the entrepreneur's moment. Go back to that, I'm sorry. So Jaden and AJ Glover, who are in Lilburn, Georgia, not just Lemonade. So we did have some patrons on earlier from Georgia, so they will make a connection, because we are about encouraging literacy and entrepreneurship with our young people. So thanks so much for AJ and Jaden providing the slide for us. So our next book will be The Plant Doctor. We will be on at exactly 4 o'clock with Wesley Peters to share The Plant Doctor. So we're looking forward to that. But I know that today has been a very long day, and that's what marathons are about. It's about longevity, and can you make it to the end? It's not as hard as running, but getting information and reading, and that's what we want to do. Can you imagine spending a whole day just reading a book? Yes, that would be a lot of fun. And that was the whole point of putting this together, because we usually do it in person, because we want to give self-published authors an opportunity to congregate and network with each other, so that they can share their stories and also to support one another. So that was one of the reasons why we put the marathon together. And this year we didn't want to let the pandemic keep us from doing it. So we decided we're going to try it virtually. So you're part of history, because this is our very first, and Anna will probably say our very last marathon. But once you see it put together, you'll never know that we had, the glitches or anything, because it'll be edited like it's a continuous engagement. So I'm very proud to say that we did it, and we'll see you at 4 o'clock for our very last reading The Plant Doctor by Wesley Peters. And thanks again. Our sponsors will be up, and know that all 8 books will be in the Roman Library, compliments of 100 Black Men of Greater Little Rock and Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, Beta Pi Omega Chapter. Thank you. Thanks, Maria.
Angelina, they cool my temperature. If you call, I go come deliver. I look for the hand never. So now me, you could love forever. I'm a god, you know, feel me like that. I'm my Angelina, I'm my Angelina. Oh, me all down. Anytime we are sleep for the club or the television, your body. So you know, say, when you carry 50 kilos somebody. You know I feel a vibe, so baby, why the bomb? Yeah. And I know you shy, but it's cool when we're making love. On the low, 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 on the Susanna, I hope you're happy now. I see you flexing on the ground with your sponsor. Susanna, I hope you're happy now. I see you change your skin color and your hair is longer now. Not to nobody. Abocando ya Champs-Élysées. Ukitesa na kamini none of my business. And I see you in London, silicone on your palm, making what you done together. On your worst behavior, Susanna Vande. This song, somebody loves you. Susanna Vande. I slap police for your case. I go to war for your case. I go to court for your case. I climb the bridge for your case. Enter water for your case. I punch the judge for your case. Anything you want, baby. That's for you, baby. For your case, you. For your case, you. No. For your case, you. Fire against you, no. Cause my papa no be Dangote, oh Adeleke, but we go there, okay, yeah. Oh my papa no be Dangote, oh Adeleke, but we go there, okay, yeah. I go shoot for your case. I go slap back for your case. I go call them see Oluomo. I go report all of them. I go shoot for your case. I go slap back for your case. I go call them see Oluomo. I go report all of them. Oh, body, see what you carry. No money, ni money. Make a body go now. Give it to me sharply. Don't say for me, oh, mommy. I could do this all my long. Don't, babe, carry me, they go, babe, carry over, no, babe, take it to the end of you. Don't, babe, carry me, they go, babe, carry over, no, babe, take it to the end of you. I see what you do. You put your body into it. I love the way you move it, oh. I can feel the vibration of your body moving. You put your body into it. I can see what you do. What I be do to get your love? Girl, I don't give you all I got, but it's not enough for you. Say you fire me, got a pot, no, no. Yeah, waiting me down, nothing I can't do for my baby, my baby. Anytime when you need me come through, my shawty, wallet. Waiting me down, nothing I can't do for my baby, my baby. My shawty, oh, my baby, my baby. Say you there for me, as I there for you. Baby, say you there for me, as I there for you. Oh, no, no. Yeah, waiting me down, nothing I can't do for my baby, my baby. Anytime when you need me come through, my shawty, wallet. Waiting me down, nothing I can't do for my baby, my baby. My shawty, my baby, my baby. Say I got you, superpower. I forgot me to where you live. That's the galaxy. I'm gonna fight like Baobab. Oh, I forgot me to where you live. I'm Miss Larella. I'm Miss Pamadi. I forgot me to where you live. I'm Miss Lamenta. I'm Miss Sunita. I forgot me to where you live. Fire dancer, can I be a sponsor? Fire dancer, girl, I need an answer. Fire dancer, can I be a sponsor? Fire dancer, girl, I need an answer. Show me what you're walking with, I want to see it. So when I pull up on your bumper, baby, let me feel it. Tell me you know that I got it. Anything that you want it. Girl, you know I've been watching. It's only you that I'm feeling. Baby, let me hold you tightly. When you move, you hypnotize me. You know you when I get ways. When I take control of your ways. Limbo, limbo, limbo like me. When you bend the girl inside me. Roll like a hula hoop. My girl like a snake, you the way you move. Hey. What's my name? Pop Daddy. Big tunes, got the clock banging. Less man, more baddies. What's that? It's a drop top caddy. What's my name? Pop Daddy. Big tunes, got the clock banging. Less man, more baddies. What's that? It's a drop top caddy. Hey, Bob Daddy, 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 Bob Girl, I wanna be your owner. Girl, after you came over. I don't really care if you're older. Baby, got a rest on your shoulder. Oh no, let's go far away. I thought I don't mind the back them. No, you know, cause we love it. I'm about to put the red, but I want my shit. I don't wanna lose. I don't wanna lose you. Another man, we wanna lose. I'm in the back now, I see you go down. I don't wanna lose. I don't wanna lose you. Another man, we wanna lose. I don't wanna show you. Nobody, 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 nobody. No one else here with nobody, 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 nobody. Look at that. It is your body, baby. I tell you, say you fine, you hold it, yeah. Me, I don't be lonely, lonely. I see you with the surgery, surgery. Anyway, me, I know the yeah. Not only you, I get one time well. So no wish, I'm living my road, oh yeah. Cause it be you, I want. It be you, I want. I could prove my love. I could bring it all over. I don't wanna get this. I don't wanna get you, you, you. We are what you do. I don't wanna get back, but give me another man. I don't wanna get this. I don't wanna get you, you, you. We are what you do. I don't wanna see you. Nobody, 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 nobody. No one else here with nobody, 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 I cannot deny you. This thing we love you, not the Bible. Baby, tell me why. I don't expect you, but you keep like you. Oh, I don't need so much.